Hey everybody, Vinny SOB, and I'm here to do a Doctrine overview for the new Wikinger Mods Soviet Armor Doctrine. And this is the first fully fleshed out of the Soviet doctrines. The other two are playable. This one is fully fleshed out, and we'll take a quick look at it. This is the tech tree, and we're going to get to that in a second. So, when you start off here with this doctrine, it is armor focused. But if you look at the first building here, the Field Regiment headquarters, you're going to have pretty standard units: an engineer, rifleman, medic, little builder troop that can replace these buildings because Wikinger does give you a fully built base with all of the factions except for the OKW who comes in trucks. You do have your field supply truck, which you can put weapons on your units out in the field, a transport truck, light machine gun, and then your ability to make a house into a forward headquarters. Your special rifle command, you have your heavy machine gun, you have your AT squad, your mortar, your officer troop, your 45 millimeter, and your vehicle crew. Now I already built the officer troop, and if you look here, the AT squads, you can only build 2 of them. These AT squads actually have, well, let me go click on them here. These guys, like any other AT squad, they're 4-man. They can go into the ambush. They do have an anti-tank grenade. It's not super deadly, but it'll do a little bit of damage. But these guys have 2 anti-tank rifles and 2 regular rifles. So um, you noticed here in the first building there is no anti-tank rifle troop. Well, these guys basically have the 2 anti-tank rifles. So they're not as good as, let's say, bazooka troops. They're not going to do as good. They can do damage to tanks, but they're just not nearly as deadly. Um, but that's fine. Now, if you look at your actual riflemen, something a little different is they come with packages. And in fact, I'll just build one up here. It's real quick to show you how it works. They'll kick out in just a second. Alright, and then we'll get back to the buildings. So when these guys come in, you're going to have the ability to put either an assault pack on them or a defensive pack, and you can put an AT rifle on them as well and a medikit. So we'll just go ahead. The 2 packs are different. We'll just click assault pack. Assault pack, it gives you, of course, you can put the AT rifle on, and that's whether you pick defensive or assault pack. You can pick an SVT-40, and you can put 3 PPSHs. So these guys are going to be, a little bit better as more of an up-close troop. They don't get any kind of rifle or anti-tank grenade, anything like that, but they do get, Molotovs. But you get those whether you pick offensive or defensive. Just send them away. If you pick the defensive troop, you can get rifle grenades and a, the DP machine gun. So it's a little different, but I do like the rifle grenades. I almost kind of wish they were on the assault branch because you want to get in close with the smoke, things like that. But at any rate, going back to the buildings, your support weapons company, you have your ambulance, your scout car, your half-track, your anti-air half-track, and then your vision piece. I mean, scout car is a vision piece, but this thing, your T70, it's great because it can see the cloaked units. And plus, it's just a really decent scout unit because it can, really tear up bunkers, things of that nature. But this is your vision unit. That's why I'm able to see like this. So, your most important building probably is your Mechanized Armor Company. This is where you have T-34, 76s, T-34 with tank riders, your TT-34 recovery vehicle, your Su-76. Um, you know what those are, the assault guns, and then your bigger anti-tank guns. And lastly, you have your battalion command here, and this has your T-3485s and your Stalin IS-2 tank. So looking at the tech tree, I did already go ahead and unlock the T-3476. This is Armor Heavy Doctrine, so you can see this whole top row, which is pretty typical for Wikinger mod, is all armor. But then you also have these two sides here that you can go, these side tracks that are also armor. So half of this tech tree is basically armor, and even a little more of it actually. But um, a big chunk of this kind of focuses mostly on T-3476s. So the first one, as I said, is T-3476. That's how I was able to open the T-34s. Because they'll be blacked out just like this until you actually click and unlock them. And you can see they're 360 and 60 fuel. So that's not horribly expensive or anything for a tank, but because this is focused on these, like the U.S. Doctrine, and I think the Brits also have a Doctrine. In fact, the Wehrmacht has a similar thing like this, where it's going to give you mass production of this particular tank, and it's going to reduce the cost and upkeep. And that's 2 points. So staying on this track here, we can go look. Now this T-3476 is only 235 and 40 fuel. So much cheaper. Let's kick this thing out. Use this guy. Also going down the tech tree here, you have more T-3476 things. You can get the T-34E STZ armor conversion. And apparently this tractor factory in Stalingrad was up armoring these T-34s. So when they come out normally, you see you have. Oh, by the way, you have to get the skin pack, the Wikinger skin pack by Starbuck. Really cool skins, but you have to get that because they can't add models. I guess they're unable to add models like they could in Company of Heroes 1, so skins are the only way you can really make everything in the Doctrine fit, especially if it didn't go initially. That's why when you play like Spearhead, you'll see you may call it a Flamehetzer or something, and it just doesn't have skins that you picked. It's got like just some plain old beige that from vanilla, because that model, that vehicle doesn't belong in the Doctrine, so it doesn't go along with it. But Wikinger is fixed all that with their own skin packs and things. So at any rate, this thing comes out. You can see you can put HE for 50, and you can put for 85 a tank commander. Tank commanders, of course, given bonuses, and then HE is good against soft targets or infantry or emplacements. It's not good against vehicles. These do come with APCR rounds automatically, so you don't have to buy them, but they do cost 45 to fire for 22 seconds. Okay, so you can go ahead and do these upgrades individually, or if you have 2 more points to spend, you can go ahead and do this T-34 STZ upgrade. Now if you look, this tank, when it comes out initially, it can go up to a level 4. Okay, so I just unlocked it. You can see this is now available here. This armor plate is now available, field upgrade. So let's go ahead and do this. It has to be stopped and in the base area. We'll click this. You're going to see like a little workstation come up here, and they're going to do the up armoring here in your base. And it takes a little bit of time, so if you're trying to really rush these out, you may not want to sit here and wait for this to be done. It does increase the survivability of your tank, which is great. But this costs 70 points to do. But the best part of it is, if you look, it comes with, when you do that, you get the tank commander and you get the HE automatically. So that's pretty nice. So you're only paying the 70 and you're getting both of these upgrades, which would cost double that, and your tank's a little up armored. One downfall is it now only goes up to a level 3. It doesn't go up to a level 4. So, that's the trade-off. Let's get this guy up here. And all these T-34s do have the tank ram maneuver, So because T-34 76s are not the best, light or medium tank, you're going to want to mass these out, really. That's the point of this doctrine. A big cat's there, you're not going to be able to really penetrate it from the front. You're going to have a hard time fighting it. You're going to need multiple, T-34 76s to affect it, like a Panther or a Tiger. But one thing you can do is bring a couple of them in and have one of these ram it. Ram the big cat or whatever vehicle it is you're trying to take out. And they will speed up and ram into it. It'll disable your tank and disable the tank it rammed. So once something's disabled, it's pretty nice because then you can go hit it with flame, take it out with other tanks, flank it. It'll be stuck. So the tank ramming ability is pretty nice, considering these are not the best medium tank out there. All right. Another thing on the tech tree here for the T-34s, and this also works for the T-34. Also works for the T-34 85s, and I believe it works for the KV, because the KV APC, okay, it's 45. So yes, this works for, what the hell? Oh. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, this upgrade works for your KV tank, which we'll get to in a second, and it works for your T-34 85s and 76ers. So go ahead and click that, and now you'll look, and now your APCR rounds are free, and it's 48 seconds instead of 22. So here again, APCR, 48 seconds instead of 22 that you get to have them active, and they're free, which is nice because you're going to want to use them, considering these aren't really the best tanks in the world. So going back along the armor track, let me see something here. Okay, it's unlocked. There's one more T-34 76 upgrade, and this is the T-34 76 with tank riders. So you're going to unlock that, and you'll look here now, and you have this opened up, and it's the tank rider version. It's actually going to be a different skin, but it is a standard T-34 76. What the hell? Oh. Let's see. It should be popping out any second now. Alright, so that takes a little bit longer to come out. So here you go, you get a T-34 76 with tank riders on it. Now you can do an individual high explosive upgrade or an individual tank commander. This does go up to level 4 off the rip. You can get this into battle quickly, you can get it in there with the tank riders, which is nice. We're just going to stop it here. You can also, if you're in your territory and stopped, you can give it the frontal armor upgrade. And you're going to see this has a very different skin. And even when you go from the standard T-34 to the T-34, whatever it's called here, the STZ, even that skin's a little different than the standard T-34. Same skin, but it'll have different script here on it. So it's pretty cool, the attention to detail. Yeah, okay. So we're not going to upgrade it, but this does come with tank riders. The tank riders, as you can see, there's a 5-man squad. You can give them the DP light machine gun upgrade and a medic kit, but otherwise they all have PPSHs. They do have a anti-tank grenade, which is pretty good, and at that one they can get a grenade assault. So these guys are really much better at up close fighting. If you put the DP on, they give them a little bit better at a distance, which is nice. They must have a sniper out there or something. Hit the ground. Alright, well, anyway, there we have it. So, that's the T-34 part of the armor tree. And in fact, let me look. I just wanted to show you the price. It's $385 and 40 fuel, and that's with the tank riders. So it's roughly, only 100 and something more than a standard T-34, and you're basically getting a set of troops, which is pretty nice. Okay, so back on the tech tree here, if you can continue to the right, I already have it unlocked, but you can call in Mikhail Alexandrovich. He's a, in Wikinger fashion here, you have a hero unit, so this is a real tank ace. You call in a KV-1, and this is a call-in, and it's 750, which for the KV-1, you only get one of them. And you can call it in, and I did that really early on. That's why I had it unlocked. The thing with this unit is, if you get it up to level 5, you can have this guy, you take this back to your base and trade it in on a IS-2. So I sat here and I just killed infantry until I got to level 5. And this thing does come out at level 1, so you can use the bushes, which gives you increased, sight vision, which is real nice. This does have the free APCR now that I've unlocked it. It does have HE, comes with that, and it has this really kick-ass shrapnel shot that when you hit infantry with it, I mean, I'm tempted to just go show you right now. Maybe I can use it on this. Shrapnel shot sends troops like flying. I mean, it's really good stuff. I mean, look at the pieces just flying. There's arms and legs. It's a mess. The shrapnel shot is very badass. It does have a cooldown. But at any rate, I've gotten this guy up to level 5. So it says here, if you get him up to level 5, you take him back to your base. And we're going to trade him in for an IS-2. So let's see how this works. And I'll bring these two anti-tank guys out here. And also, when these tank rider, when the T-34 starts fighting, what'll happen is the guys will jump off of it. So, ooh, that hurt. Let's see if he gets this one too. Nice. Okay. All right, so he's back here, level 5. So what's going on here? Oh, I have to unlock the Stalin first. Okay. So at any rate, next on the track, and this is 4 points. This is probably one of the most necessary things you're going to need in this doctrine, because if you want to fight big cats and you're not trying to ram and micro and all kinds of craziness, you're going to want this T-34-85. That's 4 points. But the tanks are pretty good. I mean, they're, one-on-one against big cats, no, they're in trouble because they don't have smoke and other things like in the same fashion. So let's see here. Here's T-34-85. They're 385 and 60, so they're really cheap for what you're getting. I mean, these are, pretty deadly tank overall. And we'll talk about its shortcomings here in a second. And then also, lastly on the tech tree, you can get the IS-2. And you can only build one of these. The only way you can get a second one is if you use this guy. Now that I've unlocked the IS-2s, you see this thing's lit up, the Order of the Red Star. So I'm going to click it, and there goes my level 5 KV. It's leaving, and if you look what came on the field, it is this Androvsky guy who has been given... And look at that cool skin on the KV, by the way. Look at these awesome skins. Okay, so here you have it. Now you have a veteran IS-2 that came in and replaced that KV-1. That's definitely takes a little while to get it up to level 5, but definitely worth it because an IS-2 obviously is a super badass tank. I don't know that you're going to be able to do it much in PvP games. I've watched several and no one's been able to get close to it, but at any rate, here's your T-3485. Another awesome skin. When this comes in, it does have tank RAM. It does have the free APCR for 48 seconds once you unlock that. You can upgrade it with HE. It doesn't come with them. There is no metal plate upgrade. You can put the smoke, and you can put the Soviet commander on there, tank commander. So these tanks are mixed in with your 76ers are going to be, you know, you can make a pretty formidable force. And although I'm showing you and going about this slowly, you can really be cranking out for cheap a bunch of these T-34 76ers. You could really be just pumping them out. But the 85, you're going to need some of these because you're normally not going to have these IS-2s out so quick. But you'll need these 85s to fight the big cats. Now, why I was saying one of the shortcomings is, like, if it's up against a Panther and you hit it and you penetrate and do some damage and they hit you and do damage, Panthers and many other tanks can have a smoke. You just click it and it's defensive smoke. You can't target them again. With this, it's a smoke launcher. And you can launch it far and actually use it to cover for other people and stuff. It's pretty cool. But in a quick, like, I'm backing out of here trying to do something, you got to pull the smoke, and then you got to fire it, and it stops and fires it. So it's just not as good defensively. But these are great tanks. You can definitely do some serious damage with them. And they will be necessary in your... Let's put some bushes on this guy. Anyway, they'll be necessary in your army. All right, back to the tech tree. So that's the major armor tech tree that deals with T-34s. Let's take those off because I don't want them to be able to hit the base. Alright, so that whole T-34 and basic armor tech tree is done. You do have a small little part of the tech tree here. You can see it's two things. You can do your armor dump, your fuel dump, and you also have your recovery vehicle. So let's just go ahead and unlock both of those. Let's send this guy away. Grab a set of engineers. Where you at? And we'll just have them build the fuel dump just to show you what it is. You can see it's a fuel dump with 2 arrows. What this fuel dump does, you build it on a non-fuel point. And what it does is it actually increases the amount from 350. I think it goes up by 250 total. So you can hold a lot of fuel, and it makes your fuel income, you know, come in much faster. So let those guys build that real quick. And the other thing we got was the recovery vehicle, which is here, unlocked now. It's 210 and 35 fuel. It's really a pretty handy vehicle. Let's let this guy help build it a little quicker. Alright, taking its time. Fuel dump should be done here soon. Now if you look, the fuel dump, it's not just your standard little fuel dump. This thing's pretty big. So it's pretty cool. And if you look now, this is going up. I'm plus 71 fuel on top of what I was already getting, which it had me at 0 fuel income, but I was maxed out. But I'm getting up to 71 total now with this fuel dump. And you can see this is rising. So it's up to 368. It's going to go all the way up to, I think, 200 more than normal. So I think it's like maybe 600 fuel you can have, or 550 or something like that. So yeah, and it's pretty cool. So there you have that. Excuse me. Alright. Here we have our recovery vehicle. And what this can do is area repair. which is pretty cool if you have a bunch of tanks out there that are hurt, or you can do the recovery, the wreck recovery. So we'll just click on this unit and look around for a wreck. The only thing I know of is this. If you hover over it and then right click to move to it, you don't have to individually go to the repair wreck thing. It'll just move over there and start turning it back into a unit for you. As long as the husk is not damaged beyond repair, so the husk has a life bar, like right there you see it's about half strength of the husk, then you can repair it and bring it back to normal. So pretty cool stuff. Alright. Let's get back to the tech tree here. Oh, we have to build one of these. So in the tech tree now we do have this bottom part of the tree that's left, and then we have this little L shape here. The bottom part of the tech tree, you're going to have a dispatch, which is a mobile recon. So if you've played there's, I think, a U.S. Armor dock has like a recon call-in. I think the Wehrmacht, it has a recon call-in. And in this one, you'll get a T-70 and a scout car. Let's go ahead and lock it, and it becomes a call-in here. And it's 650, but that is for a T-70. And let's look. A T-70 is normally 215. All right, this call-in is 650, so that'd be half. Then you get a scout car, which a scout car is usually 195. So you're like, that's actually only 450. So, but you also get a set of troops with this call-in. So let's go ahead and we'll just do it. I'll show you. Alright, so they come in quick. Now you're going to get a Vet 1 T-70. And you're going to get this scout car. So this is very nice early game to get these. And the scout car does have a set of troops inside. But you can put they have 2 PPSHs automatically. They're a 4-man troop. You can put 2 more on there, and then health pack. So you can go take over territory with this stuff, with this unit here, and of course you can get the vision. It's pretty handy stuff. All right. Then we have over here Sniper Ace Dispatch, and it's going to bring a sniper in a truck. Now it's showing this little woman's portrait here, but there's 3 different sniper aces, so you get a random sniper ace. So let's go ahead and we'll just call that in. So the truck comes in, gets up to the front, and then you see this little dispatch button, and it kicks it out. We have the woman, whatever her name is, Olga, whatever. So it's pretty cool. You have a random out of three different sniper aces. So that's pretty cool too. A little unique twist. So we'll get her up there to the front. Bring the scout car. Okay, now this one's back up and running because I repaired it with this thing here. We'll bring these guys up here, get a little more vision. Now, when I repaired this T-70, notice it's not seeing as well as it used to. I don't have a commander upgrade on it now, because when you bring these tanks back, any of your upgrades are no longer on the vehicle. So that's just something to know. It doesn't really matter. I'd rather have the vehicle back for free. Or I think it maybe it costs some fuel. Let's see. Yeah, recovery costs 60 fuel. So you're basically just paying the fuel cost of a vehicle, which is pretty cool. Alright. We're almost through it here. Let's put this girl in scope mode. Let her start popping some others. We will put the commander upgrade, get the vision back over here. Seeing this little eyeball thing there, they're seeing. So And as you noticed in here, there was no sniper to build. There's no buildable sniper. You can get 2 mortar teams, but there's like no buildable sniper in here at all. And you may also notice there really are no specialty troops in here. You know, most or many of the doctrines in Wikinger have, or in really any of the mods, have some sort of elite unit. There's no elites really in these buildings at all. Your real elite is this, you know, this KV-1, you know, hero unit call-in. He's an elite. Although the KV-1's not the best tank in the world, so I mean, there's a good chance you'll never get it up to a level that you can turn it into an IS-2. But again, once it becomes the veteran IS-2, then it's an elite unit. You do get an elite sniper unit, although they don't come in at a vet level. But it is, you know, a sniper ace and one of 3 different ones, which is pretty cool. So yeah, now when we go back to the tech tree, there's one other armor unit here. Well, there's actually one of 2 armor units left. This is an assault engineer group call-in, and you dispatch an OT-34 with assault engineer riders. And this is another call-in. This one is 750. So we'll go ahead and call this in. And this is really, I think, your only elite troop that you get with this doctrine, other than, like, you know, the tank, that veteran tank. So we'll stop it right here. Now you notice there's no upgrades for it. It comes in, the tank is already vet 1. It's just a flame tank. It is a flame. You see it's got its own skin, its own little writing and stuff. But it is a flame T-34, which is super cool. You do have to be stopped to turn the flamethrower on. But it also, the turret still also works. Now it does come with tank riders. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Get back in there. Now these guys, they can go up to level 4. These special assault engineers. You can upgrade them with an anti-tank rifle. They do have a flamethrower, and then they have some PPSHs, you know, all around. They're pretty cool looking too. But yeah, anyway, so these guys are really one of your few elite troops. They come in vet 1 already, and they can go up to level 4. But yeah, so yeah, it's a pretty cool upgrade. And it's 750, and I mean, it's expensive for a T-34 in this particular doctrine, but this is a flame T-34, so it's unique. It's super badass, actually. And you do get these troops that can ride on it, you know, come in and ride it. And you know, they go up to vet 4, so they are you know, pretty cool troop. All right, finishing out the tech tree here, we have this last little L shape here, and it's the last piece of armor. This is the T4 command tank dispatch. You deploy a trophy T4F1 to the action as a command tank. So go ahead and unlock that, and it's a call in here. You see it's 550, and it's a captured. It's a oh, that skin's cool too, but it's a captured Panzer IV F1. And it's a vet 1. You can look at the cool skin. Very cool. And what this thing is, I mean, it will fire at troops if they get close. It'll fire at units. But what it's really used for, you bring it in, and it's going to be how you call in your artillery. So you notice there's no air support in this dock. There's no, you know, artillery units. You do have these Su-76ers, but they don't have a barrage ability or anything. They can go up to level 4, by the way. But this tank, you bring it in, this captured, you know, Panzer IV. You put the binoculars on, so it's going to be a vision piece. And then you turn on the radio, and you'll see it comes with the ability to fire flares which who doesn't love that? And then you have the victory target smoke barrage, so you can fire smoke. So it's concealing smoke, so if you want to move guys up, or you can use it to, I guess if you really wanted to blind some people. I'm just gonna hit them with it just for the hell of it. And you can see the circle of that you could fire is pretty far. You've got a pretty decent range with it. And you see this last thing here was unlocked, the Panzer IV Command Support victory target for the HE rounds. So this first one is nothing but smoke. That's all it is. See, that's all that is. But it's made just for smoke. So let's go to the tech tree, and you'll see off here to the right, you unlock the high explosive round barrage from the T-34-76 or Su-76. There is a timer, and it's linked to both. So there's 45 seconds till it can be used again. You can go ahead and use the flare if you like. So that's why I went and built an Su-76, is because the best thing you can use them for, keep them in the back here, and use them for barraging. You could build up to 3 of them. So, yeah, so up to 3 of them. That's what you can build. Pretty cool. Let's put this guy in area repair. So yeah, and if you build 1, you get a few dropped smoke shells. You build 2, you get twice as many. 3, you get 3 times as many. If you're going to use this to soften people up, because again there are no airstrikes and there's no point and click artillery, so if you want to make this as effective as possible, then you're going to want to build 3 of those things, so you can have a nice big attack here when you do the arty. Before I do that, there's one last thing on the tech tree, and that is deep battle tactics, and tanks can now capture points, break through enemy lines, and follow up with your infantry. So what's cool is you can capture with your big, you can take your big tanks and now go capture spots with them. It's not just light tanks or anything like that. You can capture with all your vehicles or your big tanks. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so that thing cooled off. I'm back on the command tank here. And this is pretty common with a lot of Wikinger doctrines. You have to have a unit on the field that actually fires the stuff that you call it with, and then a unit that actually shoots it. Not all doctrines are like that. Some have some point and click stuff, like a Naval Warfare Barrage and stuff for like the OKWs, infantry or arty doc. So some are a little different, but most of them have something like this. So if you aren't familiar with Wikinger, get familiar with building the piece that spots, building the piece that shoots. So here you go. We're going to click on this, and you can see the big green circle on the mini-map down here. It's got pretty decent range, as I said. You can call this in on the base. And now we have 3 Su-76s here. The guy is calling in the coordinates. And these guys are all ready to fire. And not super accurate, and not really good against damaged vehicles. It's a 76mm barrage, but this really isn't made to take out vehicles. It's not like other docks that have 105 millimeter barrages that will knock vehicles out in one hit. This thing, it's not really that deadly, so it's not a big vehicle killer. Your big vehicle killer here is the fact that you should have a whole bunch of tanks out, because they're dirt cheap. And you're probably going to lose more than they do tank-wise, but you can replace them so cheap, and so quickly, that it makes up for it. So those are all the units as a whole. The only thing I didn't build was another IS-2. I'm just out of money, actually. But you can have up to 2 IS-2s, and that's because, as I said, you have 1 buildable for 1125 and 260 fuel. And then you get the one where I leveled it up and it's the ace. Yeah, so I'll show you a little bit of the flame tank here. And again, don't forget you have to get the Wikinger skins. So once you're stopped, you can turn the flamethrower on. And here, just cook them up. Flame is not as deadly as it was. They did calm the flame down. You're probably going to notice that. Flame used to be instant death. So that's the Doctrine. I think we covered everything. Oh, I didn't unlock that, but yeah. So that's everything in the tech tree, and that is the Guards Tank Corps, the first fully fleshed out Soviet Doctrine. Again, the other two that are already out there are playable. They're just in a linear fashion, similar to you know, other mods or, you know, vanilla. Insofar as, you know, you still have to put your points in, but they're just going to be in a linear fashion. There's no like choosing what you want to do when you want to. So yeah, I hope that helps. Anyone that had any questions about the tech tree or just maybe wanted to see all the different things in this Doctrine, I am going to hang around here and unlock the other IS-2 only so I can take a look at the different skin. And I'll sit here and barrage these guys. It's I'm only a couple hundred away here. And realistically, what I can do is retreat all these guys and just get the money quickly through sending them back. That's why it's always nice to have one of these officers around to either help your buildings move quicker, you're good for helping your troops fight more effectively, breaking suppression with these, you know, officer charge, and of course withdrawing units that you don't need anymore. Alright, should be just... There we go. IS-2, let's build it. We get one, like I said, that's buildable. Have him supervise, build it a little quicker, get it done. And IS-2 also, this is something as I discussed, they have this suppression mechanic here. And it's supposed to suppress troops. And it did. You can see it suppresses them pretty quick. So, yeah, the suppression ability on this tank, if you go... This one's the veteran, so it comes with that automatically, and it has a commander, because it is the ace. This buildable one, you're going to see you have to choose between either the 12.7 millimeter suppressing, you know, big machine gun or the commander. But that suppression mechanic is good, and especially because the IS-2 takes forever to fire. It has like a 20-second reload time or whatever it is. So it takes a while. So either you have to run away or do something, or you can, you know, if you have it available, you can use this suppression fire thing and keep troops at bay. Yeah, so it is a different skin, of course. More awesome attention to detail. And yeah, that's cool. Now, this one, as you can see, you either choose commander or the machine gun. So if you go commander, you can't do this suppression thing. But it does make your tank a little more survivable, obviously. So we'll bring it in. Yeah. And that's going to be that. So that's it for the new Soviet Tank Doctrine. First one that's completely finished. And yeah, it's a really cool doctrine. It's kind of interesting to not have you know, any air support. You have no, like I said, really no elites other than, you know, there's this one set of assault engineers, whatever the heck they are. But it definitely focuses on your medium tanks, T-34-76s, and of course your 85s, T-34-85s. That's really what you're going to want to focus on. Yeah, and there you have it. There's your 2 IS-2s, which would pretty much spell doom for anyone. Yeah. And there it is. All right. Well, that's it. You have any questions or comments, leave them below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.